Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2005 in TEW 2020 as part of the 31 Days of May as it's day 26. And as you can probably tell by my voice, and if you can't tell, that says a lot more about my voice than anything else. I'm a little stuffed up today, so honestly, probably not going to do as quite as extensive as promos and such as I usually do. Just because honestly, like, it is just one of those days, but I'm going to do my best, and here we roll. To sort of prove how out of it I am, I just hit start game, then I realized I forgot something as far as booking, but then I forgot that the story that the previous segment would then be gone. So let me see if I can actually pull this up. Yeah, you can. Anyway, so Nitro begins with a promo here from the Triumvirate, basically, putting over the fact that, Storm and Awesome kept the tag titles, taking out America's Most Wanted. Kidman once again proved he's the best wrestler in the damn world, and there's a reason he's a world heavyweight champion by defeating Booker right in the middle of that damn ring. You don't have to like him, but you have to respect him. And tonight we're going to continue to prove we are the dominant force in the business today against anybody who takes us on. As you know, to put over, Bash at the Beach is a Nitro event, so he'll defend the title against a member of Nitro. When somebody comes in from crowd, and boom, Canyon Cutter on Lance Storm. Boom, Canyon Cutter on Mike Awesome. And then Canyon rolls out of the ring, takes the mic, and basically, challenges Kidman for Bash at the Beach, saying, Billy, we faced each other off against each other before, but I want you in that ring at Bash at the Beach to take back the WCW World Championship because nobody's better than Canyon. I won caged heat to get my shot at you. Kidman eventually agrees, basically setting up the pay-per-view main event. And also they set up a tag match for later tonight where it's going to be the Triumvirate of Mike Awesome and Billy Kidman taking on... Canyon just walks away after that as the Triumvirate are very angry in the middle of the ring as the youngsters put over, Canyon has taken his shot at the WCW World Heavyweight Champion here tonight. It got a 92. And then we go to our next match, which is our Cruiserweight title match, a new ladder match. Now, ignore the mat part. So basically, because of TV ratings, basically because of our TV contracts, I had to try to adjust this to be very low, but still, it's a triple threat ladder match as Matt Sydal has to defend against Austin Aries and Reckless Roberts. Of course, Reckless Roberts, was added to the match after making an agreement with Austin Aries' new friend Tracy. Aries doesn't seem incredibly happy about that, but still he agreed to get his rematch for the Cruiserweight title. And it's a high spot, steal a show type of match, everybody flying around. Unfortunately, we get dinged through the pre-show worker, which, is not the end of the world. Still gets a 45 here. As, they fight, they fly around, Sydal does some flips. Roberts takes people down. Aries hits some big suplexes. Eventually, Tracy does get involved as Sydal is slowly rising, climbing to the top of the ladder. But she tips it over. Sydal crashes, to the outside. But the weird thing is, this happens directly after Aries is taken out, so the person who actually is able to take advantage is Reckless Roberts, who is able to climb to the top and grab the title belt and win the Cruiserweight Championship here on Nitro. As this gets a 45, Reckless Roberts gets a 51, Aries gets a 49, Sydal gets a 49. Reckless was off his game. Unfortunately, like I said, we get the pre-show thing, but not the end of the world as it gets a 45. And then Reckless Roberts heads to the pack with Tracy. As the youngsters are shocked here, it seems that Tracy and Reckless Roberts pulled one not over former champion Matt Sydal, but Austin Aries as well. Move forward. As then we go backstage where the Triumvirate, walking the Bishop off the office. He says, I'm glad you made that title match so I didn't have to, as, Keenan was the number one contender after what happened at Cage Heat. And Kidman says, he's not here to talk about that. He wants Keenan in the ring tonight so he can't even get the Bash at the Beach. So, put my boys against him and they'll take him out. And PSL's like, that would be a good idea, but I can think of even a better idea. Why don't you and Awesome tonight face off against Keenan and Alex Wright, the guy who Awesome took the title off of. There's a little bit of grumbling and consternation, but eventually, Keenan, Kidman agrees. So we got our main event tonight of Kidman and Awesome taking on Alex Wright and Keenan. And this gets a 78. Good stuff as a 4-minute segment. As, Ultras put over a big main event for tonight. And then we have the setup for a conflagration. As, Raven, Morningstar, and Kai Graves walk into the actual Raven's Nest. It's sort of dilapidated former mansion, and Raven is there in the living room, and he basically says, "This is where I grew up, a child of privilege, left to my own devices, left to my own abuses, and nobody cared about me because I was a poor little rich boy. But I'm here to take all that hurt, all that pain, and visit it upon you, Morningstar, tonight. So if you can fight tonight in this conflagration and prove that you're worthy, or you will fall, and you have to accept the message is a lie, and the prophet will rise and prove how wrong you are." Morningstar fires back that he doesn't care where he fights. If I'm happy to remind you of all your abuses, Raven, and show you new ones right here. And they face off. It looks like we're going to have a match inside of Raven's old home, I guess. Okay. So 85, decent little things here as, So we're setting up basically a cinematic match later tonight, which I'm still not 1% sure if it'll do well with our product, but we'll just have to see as it gets an 85 and we move forward. And then we have Toland and Leppan back in the ring together as a tag team. Of course, they've been shooting with the new team of Evolution, being backed up by Ric Flair, but they're in the ring tonight against Jerry Lynn and the Great Suzuki. And this is a fun little match, but it's mostly a squash. Like, Lynn and Suzuki get a couple of big high impact moves in, maybe a dive to start off the match, but eventually Leppan and Toland take advantage, take control, and throw Lynn and Suzuki around, before eventually Leppan hits a few big moves and finishes off Lynn with his finisher in a little over 5 minutes. It's not a total squash, but a pretty basic win to put over Leppan and Toland as very tough competitors. As this gets a 62, Tank Toland gets a 70, Ray Leppan gets a 74 as they have great chemistry, Suzuki gets a 49, Jerry Lynn gets a 51. Perfectly good match. And then post-match, as Leppan and Toland are celebrating, out comes Flair with Claudio Cesaro, and Blaster Lashley at the top of the ramp. Flair says, "It's funny, you think you can run in on us after a match and we're going to back down? Brother, I've taken out men in parking lots. I've hit them with bats. I've run their nose against sandpaper. I've done dirtier and meaner and nastier things than you two punks could even dream of. As long as I've got backing me up the two best young wrestlers in the world today, they're going to prove that they're the future of the tag team business, of the tag team wrestling in this business, not you guys, and they're the true evolution of professional wrestling." Woo! So, Leppan and Toland fire back, they're not afraid. We'll get right back in that ring anytime and prove that when you beat us, it was just us not getting ready, but now we're ready, and we'll prove Flair that you should go back to the retirement home. They face off, and it looks like we're actually going to have a rematch here. 79, good stuff. Mostly that's Flair, but, we're getting Lashley and Cesaro a little more over week by week. And then we go backstage, where Keenan and Alex Wright are commiserating. Alex, Keenan says, he's sure that Alex can get back on the winning track against Awesome with Tori's backing. And Tori says, we're fine teaming with you tonight, but Wright's focused on one thing, taking out the United States title, and that's going to be his goal. Wright, again, looks sort of over at Tori, sort of interestingly, maybe not quite agreeing, as Alex says, tonight I've got you out in the ring, and we're going to take it to the triumvirate and show them that they don't run this show. Keenan agrees, and let's show Kidman and Awesome they're not better than either of us. 83, decent little promo as we set things up for tonight's main event. And then we have Randy Savage coming down to the ring with Don Frye as the announcers put over, last week, that Frye jumped Sean O'Haire as he was coming out with Bill Goldberg to go after Eddie Guerrero. And still have not heard a reasoning for this. And, Frye's out there looking like Don Frye, tough and scary. Well, Savage shakes the mic and say, brother. So many people have asked me, why did Don Frye do this? Why did he go after Bill Goldberg again? Why isn't he going after other wrestlers? And the reason is pretty simple. Because Sean O'Haire, deep down, oh yeah, everybody knows you're nothing but a low down, dirty nothing bitch. You're not a real man. You haven't fought a world like this man, the Predator, Don Frye. You haven't battled in a cage against boxers, taekwondo artists, jujutsus. You've been soft ever since you came up in the power plant. You've been soft. You got everything around you. Well, this man was fighting in front of 50 rednecks for years, almost earning nothing, but knowing he was the toughest son of a bitch on the planet. So he's here to take you out of here and show that he's the cream that is rising to the top here in WCW. Oh, yeah. So basically, Sean O'Haire thinks, Don Frye, or at least Randy Savage says Don Frye, basically doesn't respect Sean O'Haire. And there we go. 83, decent little promo as we set things up for this new feud. And then, okay, so this actually didn't hurt things. So basically, this conflagration match is, they say face off as we're sort of in like not quite a dark room, but we're sort of like in a big hall with lots of tables, various implements of destruction, and then there are sort of like two X's with straps on them that maybe look like something out of a bondage room. Maybe that's where we got that prop as WCW. Who knows, though? And basically, Raven says, you have to defeat me, strap me up, and then destroy this place once for all. And Morningstar simply, smiles evenly, says he'll be happy to do that. And then the fight is on. And of course, both Macias and Kai Graves get involved, but this is a battle, all over the house. And it's cut, obviously, this is not live. So, we see them fighting in the, in sort of the Great Hall here, being thrown over tables, being, hit through doors. Kai Graves, goes for a spear, but Raven gets out of the way, and Morningstar gets sent into the other room. There's a fight in the big old school kitchen. Cookie sheets, pots, pans get thrown. Macias goes for a chokeslam on Morningstar, but Kai Graves goes after him, and they start fighting. Fight on the stairs. Then we cut where Morningstar actually tosses Raven off the top of the stairs through a table. He drags Raven over back into the Great Hall, tries to strap him up, but Raven is ready for him and throws sort of like salt or dust or something. Morningstar is, temporarily blinded. Raven goes back after him. We see Macias and Kai Graves fighting through the Great Hall, in front of both men before they go back into the kitchen. But eventually, Morningstar is able to sort of find a table leg and just wallop the shit out of Raven for a couple minutes, and Raven is not able to stand up, and then Morningstar throws him through a glass table, and then picks him up, straps him up, and says to Raven, "You will realize the message is true, or you will no longer be part of this. Accept your fate, Raven. Kneel to your master." Raven says, "I'll never do that," and you knew it, so do what you have to do. So, this gets an 80, a little over 11 minutes. Raven gets a 76, Morningstar gets an 82. Cinematic style approach paid off as the match came together well, and production values added to cinematic style match. And what happens afterward is we cut to Morningstar and Kai Graves leaving. Sorry, leaving the. I'm blanking here. Sorry, leaving the mansion, and then we see. Oh yeah, we try to leave first, and then we see Kai Graves leaving, and then we see the mansion go up in flames. Now, is Raven still in there? We don't know. We don't know what's going on. It seems the story might be finished, or is it? Who knows? We'll have to find out next week, as this gets a 78. Fun stuff. And then we cut to a sort of like long promo VTR style segment as Eddie Guerrero is at the power plant. As we see like various wrestlers or various new wrestlers training background, and he says, "I say this is not how I was trained. I was not brought up off some football team. I was not given everything, promised the world, just because I had big muscles and a background the idiots at Turner cared about. No, I fought in blood-fueled rings in Tijuana, in El Paso, in Mexico City. I rose to the top, clawing and climbing, and barely getting every single opportunity I could. Whether it was in Mexico, in front of crowds in Los Angeles that despised me, coming to somebody for the first time and marking my place and having to leave because WCW officials would never give me the opportunities that I needed. Going up north and doing great there despite anybody who was against me, and then coming back. When I came back, I realized the same damn things. Goldberg, men like you would always get the shots before I would. Because that's what these idiots in the crowd and in the offices care about. You look on TV, you can sell some soda, some candy, some t-shirts. Well, I, one of the best wrestlers in the world, get nothing. Well, grow family values mean actually teaching you how to wrestle Goldberg in that ring and show you why I'm a multi-time world champion and why I'm at the top of the wrestling world, not you. So there you go. Eddie's basically pissed at Goldberg because that he's basically WCW creation, not a real wrestler. As this feud continues, as this gets an 88. Fun stuff. And then we have backstage Jerry Borash catching up with Rickus Roberts and Tracy. As Borash says, we thought you were in a relationship with Austin Aries, and now you're with Rickus Roberts. What exactly is going on? And Tracy's like, well, it's nothing against Austin, really. He was just the opportunity, and we took it. Because you see, you gotta do a little digging if you're going to get into a business relationship with someone. And Austin, you didn't do that. Because if you did, you realized that this guy right here, no, he's not my lover. He's not my husband. He's my brother. As a hug, and you'll do anything for family. And that's what I did. So what you thought was me going in to seduce somebody, Aries, no, was me just talking to my brother and making sure that the plan was good to go. And now he's a cruiserweight champion, and you're not. Again, nothing personal, but it wasn't business. It was about family. They walk away as it's now revealed that Tracy is Rickus Roberts' brother. Not in reality, but hey, this is wrestling. We can have all sorts of wacky family relations that don't exist. 47, fun stuff, and yeah. And then you have a backstage promo where basically the Chosen Few say last week, Gigantes tried to get a shot on me, my Magnificent Mark and Jack, and he got lucky. But if you get that ring again, you big dumb Paluk, we'll take you apart because we are the Chosen Few and we are the elite of professional wrestling and nobody can stop us. Jarrett Simpson says, Slapnuts, it doesn't matter whether it's Brother Ray, it's the truth, it's Gigantes, anybody in that ring, and they realize that I chose these men for a reason, and I'm still the chosen one, and they're still the chosen few, and nobody's going to get in our way. So you want a singles match, a tag team match, a 6-man brawl. It doesn't matter. We're the chosen few for a reason. 79, decent little promo as I, rated everybody, continuing the feud with, with basically a whole bunch of random people, honestly, at this point that are teaming together because they just don't like the chosen few. Then we have a very interesting tag match as the announcers put over that, since the Assault of Anarchy match, nobody has seen Stacy Keibler as Ninkyo told WWE officials through translators that she's on personal business in Japan. And now they're here, wrestling, honestly, for the first time in a while, as they're in the ring against Chavo Tajiri. And the reality is, they seem to have some issues teaming. Like, they're a little slow to tag each other, not quite ready for double teams, and Chavo and Tajiri eventually take over. And eventually, like after a few big moves, Tajiri gets the huge win over Kaz with the Brainbuster, and a bit of an upset. Chavo and Tajiri pick up the victory here on Nitro over Ninkyo. As it gets an 83, Tajiri gets a 65, Chavo gets a 72, Keenan gets a 49, and Kaz gets a 90 because he's fucking Kaz. But yeah, it's sort of a shocking moment here. Chavo Guerrero and Tajiri get the big pinfall win here on Nitro, and they celebrate. And the Ultra Pro this may be a new start for the team for both Chavo and Tajiri here on Nitro as this gets a 59. And then we go backstage where O'Hare and Goldberg are with Bischoff's going to Bischoff's office, and they basically say, they want Frye and Guerrero in the ring as soon as possible. Bischoff says, he'll be happy the next week here on Nitro. It's going to be a big old tag team event as Sean O'Hare and Goldberg team up to take on Don Frye and Eddie Guerrero right here only on Nitro. As this gets a 79, good stuff. And then we have our main event for the evening. Okay, great. So this is a really fun tag team match. It goes a little over 60 minutes, and you get all the spots. Awesome, throwing people around, right? Eventually firing back with some big shots. Kicks to the knees, take down Awesome, forearms, brawling with Kidman. Kidman coming to do some heel stuff. Kane and Kidman facing off, fighting and brawling, going right after each other. Keenan actually hitting the cannon cutter in the middle of the match on Awesome, with Keenan making the save, right? And Awesome eventually brawling to the outside. And eventually, Keenan is able to actually drop Keenan with the cannon cutter, but then he sort of rolls through and picks him right into a flatliner. Bang. 1, 2, 3. Then I say World Champion Billy Kidman has just been pinned by Keenan. And a big win here for the faces on Nitro as Keenan gets a 93, Alex Wright gets a 73. Kim gets an 89, Austin gets an 87, and overall the match gets an 84, and overall we get an 86. So good show. Sort of main event. I was hoping sort of like high 80s, but I guess I keep overhearing like Wright's actually like not that great. Like he's solid in the ring, but he's not like a top tier guy like Awesome, Kidman or Canyon. So sort of you have to worry about these things. Not the end of the world, though. Solid stuff. So we'll see what Nitro did. All right. Okay. So. Ooh, okay. Okay, so we got a 2.84, and Raw got a. Yeah, they're still doing their Australian tour, so ratings are sort of out of whack, unfortunately. Anyway, let's see what they did. So they had Veronica Vane defeating Elizabeth Love in a 63, Trickle going over Maven, Brock Lesnar killing Ron Waterman, Gauzer Bruja defeating JBL and the Outcast by DQ in an 81, Amber James retaining the world title going over Molly Holly in an 81, Scott Steiner destroying Team Rich in 79, and of course a random 98 for the main event as Angle and Gunn defeat Edge and Chris Benoit. Fun stuff. So I'll be back in just a second with Revolution. Welcome to to Revolution live from Tampa, Florida, as we start out with Palumbo coming out to a big round of boos from the crowd as he then puts over, and says he is the face of Revolution now after last night at Great American Bash. Nobody can deny it. He walked into the ring. He walked into the ring with 3 of the top wrestlers in this business today, and he walked out as the winner, pinning a former world champion. And now he is the number 1 seed for the main tournament. He will have a bye in the first round, and he will walk through everybody and become, without a doubt, the next big thing in WCW, and absolutely nobody can stop him. Here's already been told by Teddy Long he has a tag team match tonight with Monty Brown against Booker T and RVD Booker T, but that doesn't really matter because put him in the ring with anybody. Booker, RVD, Monty, AJ, set them all up. He'll knock them all down. 96, really good promo. He did have a good big win, and what will yet to remain to be seen whether this will truly prove he is the top in this business today. As this gets a 96, fun stuff. Then go to our ring for opening match as AEW. I don't say this is simply a squash win, but the reality is we don't have this many tag teams on this brand at the moment, and we sort of need to recreate a tag division for Revolution, as we have like 23 teams over Nitro and like just AEW on Revolution, which is a problem. But regardless, Ron Simmons and Dean Malenko team up as a veteran team, and they do their best. But again, AEW are former 3-time World Tag Team Champions for a reason, and they get to win pretty quickly here in a little under 6 minutes with the Catatonic, as Chris Harris pins Dean Malenko. This gets a 70. James Storm gets an 81. Chris Harris gets a 78. Dean Malenko gets a 58. Ron Simmons gets a 62. And then AEW take the mic and say, all the respect in the world to Ron Malenko, but they're focused on one thing. That's getting our tag team championships back. It doesn't matter who had the tag belts, or whether it's Storm or Awesome, whether it's Helms and Tomko who beat them, or any other team. We're the best. We still believe we're the best in this business, and if we get one more shots of titles, we'll walk out with them. And sorry about your damn luck if you're in front of us getting in our way. So good little promo, gets an 82, as puts up, sets up. They're still looking for a chance at the tag team belts. And then we go backstage where Booker T is with Rob Van Dam, and Booker T and Sharpe is with Rob Van Dam. Booker says we both had down nights last night, sucker. But together, we can get in that ring, team together again, and show everybody why we were working so well together before. And tonight, we can kick some ass and take some names. Can you dig that? And RVD says, RVD looks up from his phone, which he's been looking at, and says, sure, man. Yeah, we're totally going to team up. We're going to kick some ass, but, it just really blows what happened last night. And now, when the hell am I going to get tag telephone, Well, another world title shot. Bash at the Beach is a Nitro show. Then I'm not involved in Mayhem, so God knows. But tonight, let's show Monty and Palumbo. This is still our era and still our generation, still our show. Cool, because I'm RVD. So 99, good stuff. RVD's still a little distracted and focused on himself, and Booker's trying to be, a strong babyface here. And then we have Desiree Dawson taking on Nikki Radcliffe in a match that had really good overness because they have great chemistry. And I need to change her finisher because Boston Crab does not work. Anyway, back and forth match as Gander put over. Desiree was brought in by Lila Vivez, and Nikki rocks, but she turned on them last night in her debut at Great American Bash. Now she's in the ring with Nikki Radcliffe. And back and forth match, but Desiree does some little light cheating to take advantage, and eventually locks Nikki Radcliffe in a submission, and she has to tap out in a little over 7 minutes and get her first big win here on Revolution, as it gets a 53, Dawkins gets a 43, Radcliffe gets a 46, and she takes the mic and says, look, to any of you out there who didn't buy Great American Bash last night, let me introduce myself. I'm the future of women's wrestling. My name is Desiree Dawkins, and what you saw in this ring tonight is just the beginning of me dominating this division. To Lila and Nikki, thanks for opening the door, but I kicked the door in on you, and now I'm going to prove this is my ring, and nobody can stop me, because now that I've gotten my opportunity. Walks out to booze the crowd. 43, not the, worst promo, but not the best one either, as we're still building her up here. And then we have an interesting video as we see Sonny Siaki, who's been in our dev for a while, and basically, he does a hype video, trading, doing some running, some, bike riding, in the ring, throwing people around, as he sort of talks to himself, but all in third person, saying Sonny Siaki is coming to WCW to show everybody why he's the hottest, why he's been the hottest young wrestler in the world for a couple of years now, and Sonny Siaki is coming to dominate WCW and coming to dominate Revolution. So yeah, he's talking in the third person like he did, not quite the full rock ripoff he was in TNA, but sort of there, as he gets a talking to third person gimmick and renamed him very good, marketable gimmick. So good stuff. Only gets a 58, which, okay, we're also in the Southeast, so that explains it as well. So probably will not do as good if, say, he's in, the tri-state, unfortunately. But still, good stuff, and he, gets a good promo to start his career off on Revolution, I guess. And then we go backstage, where Epi Wilbur has caught up to Paul London, and she talks about her having a match with Lance Storm tonight, but it's not for the TV title, as, he tells Epi Wilbur, I talked to Teddy Long, I told him, it's true, I do want a shot at a title, but not the TV title. Nothing personal there, but I've been the US champ before, I believe I can do Beto again, so now I'm going to beat Lance Storm, and after that, there's no way Mike Austin can deny me a US title shot. 82, good promo from Paul London, and sort of puts over his new goal after beating Cash at Great American Bash, is the United States title. Next up, we have the match sort of set up on the pay-per-view that has been sort of building here for the past few weeks, as of course, because Roxy and Keenan Sharpe have getting involved in each other's business, and now they're in the ring. And honestly, Keenan Sharpe sort of dominates this. Roxy gets his blows in, but Sharpe is a former US champion, has been a top-tier wrestler here in WCW for the past year or so, and Chris Roxy is a newcomer who hasn't actually done much in the actual ring. But now, Roxy does get his chances in, but Sharpe dominates him, stops in a submission, and it looks like that's the match, as it goes a little under 5 minutes, as it gets a 70, Sharpe gets a 73, Roxy gets a 54, helped out by the fact we're in the Southeast. But then post-match, Sharpe keeps the hold in, yelling, "You will be on the path," as the ref tries to sort of break it off and tells him to stop, but eventually he basically Sharpe, the referee signals to the ring announcer, and he actually reverses the decision, giving Roxy the win by DQ, and that causes Sharpe to flip out even more before he's finally forced to the back by WCW officials. Then he gets 63, and so now Keenan Sharpe will probably not be happy about that either. And then we go backstage, where Teddy Long is with Lizzie Dumas. Teddy Long's office is Lizzie Dumas and the rest of Captivation. As Lizzie says, last night, Tricia Skye's new women's world champion, but we won the big 6-man women match last night, and it's obvious that I should be getting the next title shot. Teddy Long says he'll have an announcement about the next number one contenders, the women's world champion, next week. And playa, nobody tells him what to do. So 78 started putting over that, Lizzie wants to be the next, challenger to the, for the women's world title, but Teddy Long isn't quite ready for that, as this gets a 78. And then we have a sort of a sit-down interview with Mike Tenay. Well, not sit-down interview, but sort of like a interview via satellite with Ray Jr. As, Ray Jr.'s at his home in San Diego. As Mike Tenay, puts over, he's not been seen in a couple weeks since the horrible attack in him in the parking lot. Ray says, he's getting better, but WC officials still haven't cleared him. Tenay asks him, if he can verify it was a triumvirate who attacked him, and Ray says he's not 100% sure since he got him from behind. But the reality is you just have to look at what was going to happen and just accept that's the truth. It can't be verified probably in a court of law with 100%, but he knows, and everybody in the audience knows, that Billy Kidman was worried about him beating him for the world championship, and he took him out. But he has one thing to say to Billy. Billy, I'm still here. I'm still standing. You tried to end my career, but yet you didn't. And when I'm ready and I'm cleared back in the ring, I'm going to be going right after you, and I'm going to be still ready to become World Champion. So there you go. So Sharpe's for putting over, Ray's been taken out, but he's not, fully out of it, and he'll be back in the ring soon enough. 78, good stuff here. And there we go. And then we have the Paul and Landstorm match, and it's a really good match. It's, basically, London flying around, Landstorm's technical mastery, going back and forth, Storm trying to get London in submissions, but London, getting out of them, into small packages, cradles, and eventually hitting a few big moves. Landstorm, sort of goes for the super kick. London gets under it, hits a big suplex of his own, hits a few big moves, and eventually goes up top and nails the London calling for the pinfall victory here on WCW Revolution, as this gets an 84. London gets an 89 because he's great. Landstorm gets an 86. And yeah, fun stuff. And post-match, of course, because they're evil bastard heels, London is then attacked by Awesome and Storm, but out of nowhere, Ken Anderson actually makes a save with a chair, running off both Awesome and Storm, as an Awesome Storm face-off against Anderson and London, as the crowd cheers as this gets an 86. Then, wow, okay. Yeah, Tricia Skye, good at promos. As we then get Tricia Skye backstage, basically saying, with the Women's World Champion, she'll be the first to admit, she didn't grow up wanting to be a wrestler because there's no opportunities for somebody like her to become a wrestler. It was a man's business. But she came into pro wrestling, as a manager, but she learned this business, and she grew, and she learned, and she got better and better. And she took the opportunity to move to WCW because she saw it was the best women's division in professional wrestling. And she knew she could rise to the top and truly prove she's one of the best wrestlers, no matter the gender, in the world right now. And last night, she and Gail Kim went to, at Great American Bash, she and Gail Kim went to war. And, she and Gail, we might never be best friends, but we have respect for each other. But after that, the reality is, but she proved that she's the champ. And she's going to be the standard that everyone must set themselves against. And she's going to prove that the women's division is no longer a joke. It's no different than the men's division. And she's an equal with them. So 100, and the sky's the limit for women's wrestling here in WCW. So 100, really good promo, putting, her over herself sort of top babyface, ace gatekeeper. Then we have a promo video to basically, buy the replay, which gets a 70. I think then we have our main event. Yeah, so Booker and RVD take on Monty Brown and Sharpe Palumbo, and it's, sort of the main event style match you'd imagine. Brown and Palumbo, Booker T actually get along pretty well. They were a tag team before for a short while before Booker T's original heel turn. But RVD still looks a little distracted. He's a little slow to make saves. But he still does get in there. And then on offense, he's impressive against both Brown and Palumbo. But he's really focused on Palumbo, and that allows Brown to get some good shots in. But eventually what happens is this match just falls apart. Everybody goes to the outside. They start brawling. The ref tries to get them back in the ring. But eventually, the ref throws it out, double count out, and this gets an 85. Rob Van Dam gets a 93. Booker gets an 88. Palumbo gets an 89. And Monty Brown gets an 86. And the fighting continues afterwards. But eventually what happens is, as AJ Styles comes down to help out Booker T and RVD, but he gets jumped out of nowhere by Cash of all people, as he sends Styles into the ringside barrier, as the fight continues, as it gets a 97, and the show ends. Overall, this gets us a 91. Good stuff. All right. And yeah, Miss Jones is gone. Unfortunately, there just wasn't much for her to do. Once the little storyline with Ernest Miller ended, and once there's no longer Saturday Night with actual little angles, that was basically it. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Interested? Uh, hey, the Young Bucks. They're still the Young Bucks. Candice LeRae, like, yeah. So she's something interesting. I might pick up eventually, but maybe not quite there yet. Anyway, as we look around the wrestling world, first we have WWE. So they had SmackDown. So that involved Edge and Triple H brawling, William Regal and defeating Rico Constantino in a 62. Edge squashing Ron Waterman in a cage match. Sure. Mulholland defeated Veronica Vane. Gallagher Brujo getting another 6-man win over JP on the Outcasts. DDP defeating Scott Hall and Justice in a triple threat match. Sure. Kurt Angle defeating Christian in Random 97. And main event of Undertaker defeating Randy Orton in a tables match. I guess they turned Orton heel in game. So interesting. Not the best show for them, though. Also, they were in New Zealand, so there you go. Let's see here. Then if we look at our um, dev feds, which, yeah, okay. So first we got TV show, Wine Drago and Megan Briggs defeated Rayman and Matt Cross. In a 46, Rick Michaels and Sensaki defeat Tony Jones and JC Daz. In a 48, Adam Ortiz, Ray Gordy, and Lazarus defeated Ordex and King Cole and Matt Morgan. And Jason Cross defeated Chance Profit. And then they had their big show in front of 7,000 people, so an NXT level show. JC Daz and Jack Briggs defeated Rain Man and Rick Michaels. You know, not really ready for either of those guys. Ray Gordy and Rage Inc. defeated Matt Cross and King Cole and Matt Morgan. So, yeah, there you go for these guys. So it's how Tennessee retained the tag titles over Adam Ortiz and Ryan Drago. Tony Stradlin defeated Trevor Rose in a 63, and Jason Cross defeated Cassie Riley in a 67. So there you go. And then there was a weekly house show. Let's see, anything of note. Matt Morgan defeated Chance Profit in a 54. Kent Cole, Matt Cross, and Rick Michaels defeated Ryan Drago, JC Daz. Cassie Riley defeated Ringman. Akamoto defeated Ray Gordy, sure. And yeah, that's about it as far as people that we're involved with. And then if we go to AWQ, for the weekly show, we had Michelle McCool defeat Madison Eagles in a 36. We had Madison's Claire defeated Carla Chambers, who was a regen. We had ODP, Leo Sosaka, and Mischief defeated Amazing Cog and Mega Women. Then in sort of like her last match, Kim Nielsen defeated Tracy Taylor, and then Ariel defeated Tracy Brooks at a 58. So there we go. And then if we look at HWA, honestly, not much going on here. Falaba defeated a regen. Dustin Lee defeated Silas Young. Jimmy Jacobs, Billy Back, and Corey Castle defeated Derek Corbin and Flip Deluxe. Yeah. Cyber Squad defeated Alex Shelley and Drew Onyx and Paige and Rodimer. So, yeah. Interesting stuff, but like not too much going on. Then if we go to OVW, I think, yeah, you guys did not see. No, yeah, you totally saw that they had a big show. Okay, let's see for their weekly loop though. Let's see here. Sean Casey defeated John Cena, but Cena's slowly getting more over. Shai Distiller defeated Abington Chambers. The A Squad defeated the Samoans. Brett Breaker and Rob Conway defeated Charlie Haas and Mitch Page. Wildly and Buddha retained the tag team titles. Drew Matthews defeated Danny Doran. And then for the weekly for Saturday, not much different. Yeah. Chuck Taylor defeated Russ Haas in an interesting match, but that's about it. And then as we look around the wrestling world here, let's see here. Just search events. All right, that's okay. So go back to last week's. Okay, so Gaia had a. Oh no, I already showed you guys this, but yeah. Okay, actually, not as much going on as I thought. I thought there was a big show I wanted to show you guys, but maybe not. Oh yeah, Integrity, which remember, is sort of the Ring of Honor um thing I created after basically I after Ring of Honor in game got taken over by Rob Black and Vince Russo. So we have Ryan Major defeating Ricky Reyes, Incognito defeated Emilio Cortez, who's a regen, defeated Homicelli defeated Davey Richards, Peter Goodman defeated Brian Campbell, John Walters defeated Bobby Cramps by DQ, Marcus Militek, who's a regen who we used to have on the roster before we let him go, defeated Rorschach, Doug Basham, Striker, who, and Tyler Bateman defeated the Ensemble of Jesus Castillo Jr., Brian Logan, Jolly Roger, Shark, Glacier defeated Eddie Cologne by DQ, Shed Moore defeated Carly Cologne, Ice Trading Tony Zena defeats Savio Vega and Shane Ballard, Mark Monroe defeats Sean Phoenix, and Joey Erlin defeats Sean Ballard. And Big Japan had Guardian Fight, which was made event by Mika Hanma defeated Bam Bam Bigelow. And then a great match between Oko and Suzuki versus Takaki and Suwama. Uh, Independent Wrestling Show, which, okay, Hulk Hogan is getting desperate because he's doing matches on the Indies, which I think would be his first, it would be his first match in game ever. So that's interesting considering some things. 0-1 had a big show as well. Main event by Otani versus Hashimoto, which got an 80. We had Josh Barnett and Hidaka versus Tokubo Mizaki and Tiger Mask 4. We got a 73. We had Yoshito Yuzaki defeated Daisuke Sekimoto in a 671. And yeah. IW Puerto Rico had a big show made by Perry Saturn versus Jerry Sags. MLW had their monthly big shows. Highlights Violet J versus Tex Salinger in a weird late WCW style match. Mark Miltech defeated Luke Cox. And Mark Mero and Geraldine teamed up to defeat Shayna Ballard and Julio Estrada. WXW had a big show. Not much going on there, honestly. The people know from WXW haven't really debuted yet. New World Entertainment, who's, I don't know if you remember this, but they were like sort of the Italian company that rose up during this time period because W got really hot there for a couple of years in Italy. But yeah, not much going on there. So that's going on. Again, sort of a low-key week here because I'm, again, a bit stuffed up. But, that happens. Again, just to double-check things, we got storylines. Against the Darkness up to a 77. Chosen Backgrounds at a 73. Cruiser Stuff's at a 47. Evolution as Mystery is at a 69. Expensive Taste is at an 86. Canyon's Revenge, or Ravine if you misspell it, is at a 79. Top Guy Stuff is at a 76. Beautiful Violence, which is one of our women's feud, is at a 55. Booker Steps In is at a 92. Cashing Out in London, which I need to change over, is at an 82. Disease or Disorder at a 69. The Revolution Rising feud's at an 88. Triumvirate Rising's at an 80. And then this feud's at an 63. So fun stuff. And as sort of a sorry, had a little. Sorry, I thought I hit pause there. Anyway, as a programming parameter, as I was saying, Basically, this is, the middle of the year. So after I simulate through the rest of middle of the year, we'll be starting the review of the half year. So, going deep depth into the rosters, the rest of the world's rosters, news, what's been happening. It's a good jumping on place if, you haven't been following bit by bit the series, as I sort of like explain things, what's going on and all that fun stuff. But outside of that, that's about it for now. So if you enjoyed this, go and give it a like, comment, or, comment what you're liking and not liking below. So, and subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content, including this series, my Ring of Honor series, some Journey Wrestling fun, CK3, Victory 3, and whatever else stuff happens to pop up. That's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios.